Hello, and welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy show with your host, your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning, hella early AF at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, at 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Livecast today. We're talking about honest assessments, honest self-assessments, self-analysis, really taking stock of yourself, in a ritualized, uh, a frequent way, a way that which you do it, sporadically. But that's a part of your basic lifestyle where you take an honest, we all take honest assessment, self analyses, so we can become our highest, best, most productive selves. That's today's topic. Thanks for joining us. If you are new, you can go to productivethroughjoy.com. See about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being more productive through joy. All right, thanks for being here, guys. Again, if you are new, allow me to say a few words about myself. This is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher, author of the New York Times bestseller Raising Fences, author of the acclaimed historical novel Americus, author of the Pulitzer Prize nominated Animating Black and Brown Liberation, a theory of American literatures. I am the board president of a really wonderful nonprofit here in LA's Crenshaw district known as the World Stage. My educational background is UC Berkeley as an undergrad, my master's from UCLA, and my PhD in English Lit from the University of California at Riverside. Guys, I'm an expert at being productive, all right? I don't say that to brag or boast. I say it because people are almost always surprised to hear that level of productivity when they hear my crazy background. I am the product of a young woman who was assaulted at age 16, gave birth to me at 17, and subsequently gave me up for adoption as a 1-month-old child to a wonderful divorcee, but at the time, no biological father, no adopted father. Listen, difficult times for the young MD, yet his crew. Mo D said, "How you like me now?" Right? And if I can be this productive and be so through joy, we just think many people can as well, while also acknowledging all of the obvious systemic barriers to all of our success, certainly people of color. And we have to always ask ourselves, okay, all those things are true, and now what? I mean, what are we going to do given that stuff? And so, given that context, I know that it's not where you're from. It's certainly where you're about to go. So thanks for joining us here on the show today. And let's dive in. So today, guys, we're talking about an honest self-assessment, self-analysis, with the intent of really kind of seeing where we are, where you are, where I am, and how we can do better. All right. So point one is really you have to have the courage to have an honest self-assessment. I know a lot of us. It's just easier not to deal with the things that are difficult to deal with. I've had that feeling and done that, lived that life. I know what it's like to not want to deal with yourself because the time is so deep, you really can't even go there. It may disable you. I've had those moments, those times in my life where my life was so deep, or my past was so deep, I couldn't even really fully address it because I didn't think I could survive that particular process. But once you get to a point where you can, listen, you want to decide, that's important, to confront myself, because folks who don't confront themselves have a very, very difficult time in relationships. That's my experience, kind of seeing my own life, seeing other people's lives. If you stay in that zone, I mean, that's just an almost guarantee for an unhappy life. If you can't deal with yourself in like a replete, honest way, that's just because you have too many issues. You can't, be with someone else as a friend or in a relationship if you can't deal with yourself. That's just so. If that's you, maybe it is right now. You're tired of being where you're at. That's what happened to me. I got tired when I was in my 20s of being the way I was. I was like, I need to change. I got to change. Mama needs to change. Right. So I just changed it up, start working on myself, and boom. All right, so that's point one. You want to have the courage to deal with yourself. Point two is that, you want, as you begin to assess and analyze where you're at, you want to begin to then take the next step and take action to change. It is not sufficient just to self-analyze. Well, this is what I need to work on. These are my problems. These are my issues right here. This is my issue. That's a good start. But you have to take the next step for it to actually all come together. You have to say, oh, I got to change these things. I've got a lot of those stories. Man, I'll just give you one as an example. So when I was like in my 20s, all the way up, really most of my life until my 20s, I used to be super undisciplined. I just couldn't really kind of get it together. I wasn't really good at seeing things through. Uh, I'm an artist, so I equated that to, oh, I'm just a crazy artist, and it's still pretty true today. But I thought, man, I do not like being able to like handle business, or I don't like being able to like keep my word. I wasn't good at keeping my word or coming through for people. I just wasn't good at those things. I wasn't like stable. I guess that's the other part of it up until my 20s. So I thought, I don't like that about me. I did some honest self-assessment. I was like, I like other parts of me, but I don't like that. So I began to really work on that. So anyway, long story short, that difficult self-analysis and self-assessment, which is hard to confront, having to deal with myself in that way, but it put me on the road to really begin to change that behavior. And so now, man, discipline is one of my hallmarks. People know me. People who know my real life, who are in my life for real, who know me, they know that discipline is what I'm about. Keeping my word is what I'm about. Coming through is what I'm about. So now you can always have haters and folks who don't know you who are going to talk trash about you. That's just because people are unhappy with their lives. People who are haters are always unhappy. I think about how busy I am. I always think when people hate, who's got time to be thinking about hating on someone? How do you like go deal with your life, handle your own business? But when you hate, that means that you aren't doing what you should be doing. Typically, that's my experience. So you're going to always have haters, right? But for the people who know you, when they see you begin to change and do a self-analysis and begin to address those issues, if you have kids especially, or a partner in your life, people who are really close to you, as you begin to change and grow, now again, some are going to be challenged by that and they're going to hate and try to hold you back. That's going to happen for sure. But largely, people are going to be inspired. Now, they may not tell you they're inspired because they're too prideful, whatever it is, but that you will challenge them to work on their self, to do their own self-assessment and to change in their own lives. And why that's important is that that's important because those people in your life who are being inspired by you to change and grow are going to change and grow. Some of them, I mean, not all of them will be able to do what you've done because it's hard to change. That's my experience. Like real, true change, you have to be super committed to it. So all people won't do it, but some people will actually try, and some will actually have success in your circle. And what happens as a result is that their growth begins to benefit you because the quality of the people you're hanging out with enhances. Not quality in terms of value. I can't think of the word now, but of valuing people above others. But in terms of people having the conviction to see where their life needs to change and making that change and becoming a better version of themselves and for their community and their family, that enhances your life because the people around you are just doing better, are more about stuff, are living with more integrity, which then therefore inspires you to do the same. But then it becomes this cyclical, powerful, self-creating environment of what I would just call productivity, which goes right into our point 3. As you begin to do that self-assessment, as you begin to inspire the folks around you, all ships will rise because you're playing in a better league. It's like playing. I played high school basketball, and before and after that time, you would go to different parks and play and test your skills against the other neighborhoods. And you recognize that when you play in a tougher league, tougher environment, your game has by necessity has got to get better. So for me, that competition raised my game, right? I always played my best games against the best competition. And in a way, that's how life can be. When you and your friends are elevating your quote unquote games, your lives, your approach to living, everyone benefits because the environment is just more conducive for productivity. And that's a beautiful thing. It's great to change yourself and to grow, and that stuff is beautiful. It's a great thing. But let me tell you, when you see your family, your friends, people you love growing and changing, because when you change and grow, you feel you respect yourself more, and you just feel better. You're happier. You're more joyful. You feel more powerful. You just feel good. It's good to be able to have success over the things that you want to change in your life. It feels really good, and that's one of the tricks, the keys, the effective strategies to happiness and joy is being able to, really change. Some people can change like on the surface, kind of like a fake thing. It's like they do it for other people. But even that change, I'll accept that. That's okay. But there are those of you who know what I'm talking about. When you can really, when you can change and do what you're supposed to be doing when no one's looking, right? It's not some performance. It's not just for IG. It's like that's your real life. When no one's looking, you're still doing that stuff. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. And that kind of change, guys, it makes you feel really good. Boom, goes to dynamite. That's all we have for today's show. We'll see you this afternoon, guys, at 4:45 p.m. Yo, until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Doses. I'm out.